Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. We would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are streaming, and we would like to also pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. My name is Flynn. I'm hosting today, and I'm here with fantastic Ramesh, Hari Krishnasamy. Ramesh, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Flynn. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We had a great stream yesterday, so that was on Tuesday. If you missed it, you can always watch it on demand here on Behance, over on YouTube. Just follow the link. Check it out. We had a great time mucking around with photo manipulation in Photoshop, Firefly, and generative AI. And we're going to do a little bit of the same today as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm super excited. Are we looking at the screen right now?
Yeah, let's bring it over. We'll bring up your screen now.
Okay.
And here we go. What do we have here?
Wow. Okay. So today we're going to talk about with a theme of, I know there's a Little Mermaid movie going on, and I thought it would be nice to actually explore that kind of like similar theme for today. And this is roughly the output that you guys will be learning for today. Now, the quiz is, can you all name me or point out which one is the real images and which ones are generated AI? So take a guess, let me know. So that, again, I'll give you a couple of seconds or minute, and then we shall start. It's a very nice. I've already asked Johanna and Flynn before this, and they kind of point out few, but almost there.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite hard to tell, isn't it? You know what has been generated from where, which I guess is kind of the point. Yeah, it's great. The idea, I think, of photo manipulation skills along with like generative AI in hand of stock. It's a very interesting process, an interesting world that we're living in at the moment.
It's literally, even for myself, right? If I were to ask somebody, they can never 100% tell me which one is generative AI, which is not, because like I always say, even yesterday during the stream, I did say like it's very seamless. Like I don't know where's the cutoff point where it merged with the real images. So it's beautiful. Okay, I don't know if people have answered, but I think it's time to reveal so that I can get it started and finish it on time. Okay, so generative few are the ones that I'm pointing at right now. So the crown, it's not real.
Right.
And whatever that's around her body, that is not real. And what she's sitting on is not real. Those are generative AI, and the crab is not real. What's real is the model itself, and also the tail of the fish, and a bottom part of her body, which is real. Everything else is AI. So
I think I didn't get it. Johanna didn't get it either. But I thought I would have thought the rock would have been the last thing I would have guessed. It's interesting what you know. Firefly and Gen AI is very good at creating, because that's extremely real to me.
Yeah, and another thing is that you'll be surprised that whatever prop that they add, they fix the lighting before they add in. Meaning, the lighting is coming from the left hand side, and see how it hits the rock. Like the lightings on the rock hits here, and the darkness spots hits here, which is perfect. Like I don't have to do much adjustment to whatever they put in. But yeah, it's magical.
Yep, exactly. And yeah. All right. Well, so this is recreating. This stream is a little bit different. So this one's kind of recreating a like classic story or classic image, isn't it?
Yep. And I think if you watch the movie, guys, everybody know best friend is the lobster and Flodder, I think that's the name. But since this is my own story, the good friend of this Little Mermaid will be the crab.
Okay, crab Sebastian is the crab, I think.
Yeah, and then it's about them meeting for the first time, talking to each other, but didn't notice that the splash is coming towards them.
Right.
So it's the fun part. So cool. Let's get started. I'm gonna bring in the background first, which will be this. I am going to just resize this right quickly, like that, leaving some space at the bottom, so that I can add in the mermaid. Okay, the first error generative AI image that I'm going to create would be the rock part, the bottom one. So I am going to leave some space here to here. So I need some space at the bottom as well, like around here, hopefully. Okay, now time to key in whatever I have in mind. So I'm looking for a solid black rock. Okay, cool. Again, I will never get back the same rock that I showed you guys way earlier, but let's see what it will create. Because I kind of like that one, so yeah. And let's pick. Yeah,
I've done a few streams where I've done a little bit of a practice before the stream, and sometimes I really liked what was generated before we went on stream, and then I'm live on stream. I'm like, no, where's the image from before? Why is this one?
Yeah, but that's the fun part, I think. Probably you get better. Yeah. Probably you get a better one, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm hoping for that. Let's see. And again, we have 3 options. Thank God. Let's see if it will give me what I need.
See what we get.
Can it be the first one? At times it does take a lot of time. We're not asking something magic. Okay, let me see. Back in my head, I'm processing to see. Not bad. Let's look for no.
That's gonna hurt a little bit to sit on. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't I try to create another 3 more? Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. So that one looks very real. So what don't you like about it?
Which one? This one? It doesn't have the same I would say formation of the stone I had earlier. Because it has the this is 2. It doesn't work because they have to stick together. So, and then no, this is very rough. It's gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. But maybe I can use the first one. I use what I have. Which is, again, another thing here is that look how seamless it is right now.
Yeah.
Right? Super cool. I love it. And again, at the back of my head, I'm trying to imagine she's sitting on this rock, and then I can see there's a bit of slanted place for the crab, which is perfect. And I can have the tail at the background, which is already good. So I think we are good to start. So yeah. And so you're asking earlier what doesn't work is that let me go back to the previous image. It has the perspective of the stone, which is amazing. Like this comes front and it ends there, which is very nice for the tail to reside at the back of that stone. But no worries, let's use what we have. Okay, cool. Now that we have this, time to import in the model, which will be this. Okay, I am going to, before I do anything, I'm gonna just resize it even before cropping to get my perspective right.
Right.
Okay, again, you all know already that there will be a crab, so I'm gonna leave some space there.
Right.
Yeah, there, and don't worry about the feet, we gonna move it away because she's a mermaid. Okay, this looks good. I like that, and I shall bring back the opacity and press on W, select subject. Yesterday I did explain about how the detailed result looks like, right? It's in the cloud. It takes some time, but it works perfectly. So let's click on that and press W.
So if you missed it, just up the top when you're doing select subject, you have 2 options. One is for your machine, for Photoshop in your machine to figure it out very, very quick. Or you can use the cloud, which actually uses machine learning. And I suspect that sort of thing is going to get better and better. It's actually been some improvements over the last couple of updates of Photoshop. You might not have seen it. I doubt anyone's reading the patch notes, but it's gotten better and better. So you'll notice that using the cloud is going to constantly improve. It's going to be the way to do things. It's pretty much the best way to do it now.
Yeah.
It's worth the time.
Again, it saves so much of your time going in and change things. And then also right after you do all the masking out, you probably will also get all this soft little, again, Photoshop is trying to blend it together with the image. That's why you don't really have like a shortcut. Like for example, if I zoom in, you can see a bit of blurry effects. And how do you remove that? You can refine it even better. Select and mask. Okay, press on that and you'll get few settings on the right hand side. So just make the transparency 100%. And then I always like to play with the contrast here, underneath here. So when you move the contrast, you can see just, let me zoom in. Okay, if you look at the fit over here, if I move the contrast, see how from the softened edge, it gets sharper. There you go. So maybe you want to increase the contrast a bit. And then if you also notice, sometimes you will have a bit of like those rough edges, and you want to just fix it by moving the feather by maybe shift edge by just like 1 or 2 pixel. You get, okay, there you go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this, and then just reduce it. There you go. And then click
So you're just reducing it until the white, you can't really see the white anymore.
Yeah.
Because it was a white background. And I guess if you had a black background, it'd be the same, you'd be trying to get rid of the black pixels that are around.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then it's also because if you don't do that, then imagine not having that feature, right? You have to go in and you have to find the right brush. You have to go all around the body and fix everything. Again, time consuming. We don't want to do that, right? Okay, so now that I'm done with this, still a bit of refining to do. I'm gonna just remove this part of the white patch. Okay, move that away. Oops, on the wrong side. Okay, move that away. Okay, perfect. And then I shall go in and remove the feet.
So I'm gonna feet with the mermaid.
And then let's do the removing. In this today's session, we're gonna look into how to fix colors like we always do. Just making sure everything look more realistic. More detailing to be done. Compared to yesterday. Yesterday's focus will be the UFO. Today will be the mermaid itself. Like, how do I blend the body part with the other parts of the fish and all that? So yeah, it will be fun. And I kind of did the test yesterday. I was like, oh, I can't wait to do like the same sharing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So which is today, which is perfect. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
And then here, feet.
And by the way, we are live, so if anyone has any questions about photo manipulation, Photoshop, what Ramesh is doing throughout the stream, or just generative AI or Firefly in general, feel free to throw it in chat.
Yep. And I am going to remove this part of the cloth that she's wearing, because the cloth is, if you imagine it, it looks slightly thicker. Obviously, because I think it looks like a towel. So I'm going to just refine it by removing this part of the towel, so that if you look at how mermaid is, it's usually very solid. Like it follows the body posture. So again, another thing to bear in mind when you do your artwork is that always visualize what you're creating, whether it makes sense or not. So yeah,
that's a good tip.
100%.
And then Fariz in chat, which I believe is someone from your team. Shout out to Ramesh's team, best hype team ever. Said Ramesh was kind enough to demo the generative AI feature with his team in KL, which I assume is Kuala Lumpur. And
yes,
it's been a game changer for us for editing photos. He's too generous with his time, with his sharing. Bless his soul. We were talking a little bit. That's very sweet. That was Fariz. So thank you for that comment. It's very kind.
Thank you, Fariz.
It's very kind. Yeah, we were chatting a little bit about it yesterday. Just we're talking about creating artwork here, but we were just talking about the practicality of editing profile photos for a website or something, and just
yes,
add dimensions when it's been sent to you in a format that doesn't match. And it's just, God, the amount of times that I have just had to back and forward with people to get a new image, just to get the right aspect ratio, so the website didn't look weird when you've got lots of faces next to each other. Oh,
it's like on purpose. It's like, crop my head. It's okay. The designers can fix it. They have Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I've cleaned up the mermaid, it's time to, if you look at the atmosphere or the environment, right, everything looked a bit low light, like underexposed. And she looked a bit overexposed, so we need to fix it so that it doesn't look like a cut and paste job, right? In order to do that, what I always do with my artwork, if you look at my Instagram, there's a lot of like human-based theme. I like to darken their skin so that it kind of blends together with the background. So how to do that? Usually I will create a new layer on top of that particular model. I'll mask it. I'll change the layer transparency to soft light, I will then change to bucket and change the color to black, and then I will drop it in here like this. Can you see it's darkened? But it maintains, it's not like, if you change to normal, right, which doesn't make sense. Even if you lower down the opacity, you know something is not right. Like there's like another shade of it. So if you want to blend things together, always change to soft light. So it gave the soft light feel. Still, you can feel the texture of the body, but try to increase it a bit. And we're going to change the color and everything and whatnot. But if you see before and after, there you go. Before and after. Sorry,
right.
It's
and
super
so
important.
That's just a solid color that you've put onto that.
Yeah,
layer.
that's a solid color.
That wasn't,
yes.
Yeah, if that wasn't clipping down and it wasn't part of the clipping mask, it'd just be a solid.
Correct. So it will apply for everything else, which also maintain back the same exposure of the model, which we don't want. I'm okay with the background, but not the model. So I'm going to fix that. And I am going to just group them very quickly. Call it mermaid. And I'm going to fix the color a bit, because if you look at the surrounding, the color is a bit lower in saturation. So I'm going to create hue and saturation layer on top of the model. Again, pressing on Option or Alt on Windows. Let's reduce the saturation a bit. Not so much, a bit. And then if not of the hue and the soft light, there will be a lot of difference. There you go. I'm trying to hide the layers to show you guys how it looks like. Again, trying to zoom out and see, okay, is she a part of the whole environment or not? Again, don't worry so much of the color, the overall color. Of course, we have the color lookup to add in later on. So that's that. Perfect. Let's see. Everything looks good. I think it's time to this would be something I think a lot of people ask me even in my Instagram, is that how do you add things to the body? Like, for example, if you look at my Instagram, there will be a lot of little goddesses where they wear jewelries and they have like scarves and shirts and whatever not. How do I add? So this is how I do it. Usually I will create the shape that I want around that particular placement. Like, for example, I know mermaid bottom part here have to be changed. All I have to do is, I like to use polygonal lasso. It's one of my favorite. I always mention that. I will just create again, leaving some space here because I'll let you know why. Again, I am creating the shape where I want to replace things. Like this, I am gonna just create the shape that I want. Like this, again, following the cloth as a guidance. Oops, I'm gonna just continue to select everything. Don't worry so much if it's not perfect. We can always fix it later. And then done. Once you have it selected like this, I want you to drop a color onto it. I like white, so I'm gonna just drop in white like that. Okay, so done with that, and you'll be thinking, okay, what's next? It's patch flat white. Time to bring in the next stock image, which will be the fish. And if you're wondering what fish is this is the fighting fish. I think it's an Asian thing. Like, when I was small, I remember keeping one at home. It's very colorful. I always love it's very flowy, the fin and whatever not. And the danger comes when you have two. You can never put them in one same bottle. You need to put them in a separate bottle, else they will fight. I mean, even if you put separately, they will fight. But usually there will be a competition. I think in Thailand, even in Malaysia, some part of the states do have this game where they will get one each, and then they'll fight and see which one wins. So yeah, it's interesting.
Pretty brutal.
I know. Okay, so if you're wondering how I did that, so I have the fish. So I really like this part of the body of this fish. So I want that to be the bottom part of the mermaid. So let's mask it. Okay, and then let's rotate it again, depending on where I think it will work the best. There you go, like that. You can already see with the lighting and everything, like it's getting somewhere, right? So this is how I do most of my manipulation. I like to blend things like this. Like, I will create shape first, and then add it on. Because I think there's also a question like okay, they always thought I bring in the fish and then I use the warp tool. You know how you control T and you have the warp tool?
That's a way to do it. I wouldn't have been surprised if you started that way. No. Yeah.
That is a disaster, because you
never
need
do
to
that.
move things. Yeah, never do that, because it works for a flowy thing outside the objects, like a red cloth flying around like a scarf or whatever,
or something.
Yeah, you within that particular placement, you want to use this method. It saves so much of time, and you are in control. Like, I can move which part of the area that I want. Like, I don't have to warp things around. Imagine warping. I don't think so today's session enough. I need to extend warp for tomorrow. So so this is the way I did it, and it saves so much of time. And it was an accident when I first discovered it, like many years ago. I was like, oh, why did I do this? But yeah, it's that's the fun part of Photoshop or whichever tool that you're using. Even like Cake or what. When you there was a mistake, and that mistake will be like game changer. Yeah. Right. So it's super cool to always do experimental work. You will never know. Okay, so that's that. Okay, if you're wondering, this part over here, mermaid has a very, like, you can actually see how the skin is, right? The mermaid skin blends together with the fish part of the surface of the skin. So we're gonna do that blending. If you remember, underneath here, I already created the layer, which I mask it. Let's call it skin, and mask it. Put a masking in there, and we're gonna choose a brush that's very soft. Flow again, 30 or 26. Yesterday I did mention I like to do a very low flow so that it works better than an opacity at 100%, or sorry, the flow that's at 100%, because it will be like so hard. It doesn't look so smooth. So you want to fix that, and let's just blend it like this. Let's zoom in so that you guys can see. There you go. There's a bit of towel, which I'm gonna fix that. So that is a part of the body, and I'm gonna switch my brush so that I don't see the towel. Okay, what I just did was if you look at my masking, so the black obviously is the one that's erasing stuff like this, right? So the beauty of masking is that you maintain the shape. If you want to undo, just switch the color black to white by just pressing on X on your keyboard. So you can see how it switches on the color palette here where my mouse is. You can see that. So it's that easy switching from black to white, get back what I want to. So black to remove. So I always make sure my finger is on X. So whenever I did a mistake, I can always switch back. Imagine using eraser. You can never get back unless you do undo, which is not a good way to do things. Okay, that is fixed. I'm gonna just brush this part here, and voila. And we're gonna fix the lighting and whatever not after this. Next is we gonna bring back the fish. But again, I'm going to go underneath the mermaid and then drag the fish in. This part, we're going to play with the tail. Now that we have the fish, time to crop it out. So just go for the cloud, select subject, and mask it. Time to rotate. Again, whichever angle that I want, but back of my head. Oh, actually, let's move the tail underneath the stone. Actually, no, just put it there. We're gonna do a bit of masking. So
it's interesting with the stone, just to point out, like if you saw the beginning where Ramesh added in the stone, it adds in. Ramesh put a rectangular marquee, and so that meant that it replaced all of the pixels, including the background. So it looks like it's merged from visually, but eventually you'll need to mask some of that out, won't you?
Correct.
Cut a bit. So it's just an interesting.
If only it's
thing.
like a transparent thing, Which is also can't be possible if it's transparent, because it has to have that seamless feeling anyway, right? Towards the background. So but no worries, we have all the tools that we have to mask things. Again, back of my head, I'm imagining she's sitting like how a graceful girl will sit on a floor, and the tail, I want it to be at the back of the stone. Imagine it's like going underneath the water and only some part showing at the side.
Right.
Again, that's the beauty of showing certain things. You don't have to show everything. People know it's mermaid. Like the tail is the highlight. Even if I have to create a poster for Little Mermaid, even if I show half of the body silhouette or something, and then you can see the tail, you're like, oh, that's mermaid. So yeah, that's all iconic things, right? That you want to give importance to. So again, I'm going to lower down the opacity because I need to position it in a way that I'm happy with. So let's move it down like this. Oh, that looks good. So now to mask things out, I am going to change my brush to something hard. Press on B, hard, and I'm going to increase my flow because I really need a very sharp looking brush. And let's remove the unwanted tails so that it looks like a one tail. Again, I am trying to follow the edge of the stone or the rock. Done. Here and voila.
Don't want to talk while you're doing that because it's very delicate, but it's interesting. So you used a completely hard edge because the top of the rock is sharp. It's like geometric.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. So once we're done with that, cool. I like the colors. Oh, talking about colors, I'm not really a fan of this color of this fish. I'm going to change it. Like I said, you are the master of your artwork. You can do whatever you want. So let's go back to the model's body part here, which I'm gonna change the hue to. Again, I want to color match slightly very close to the movie itself, which would, how to change colors are very easy. Just press on Control U or Command U. You will get this, and all you have to do is slide this hue to whichever color that you like, but I really like this one. It's right at the edge. It's like plus 80. So I know that setting is plus 80. I will go back to the tail part. Same thing, Control U or Command U, change the hue to 180. There you go. But now, if you look at the color, it's pretty bright and it's very colorful. We want to change that. How? Again, we gonna, I like to do this also. I like to group things and change right on top of it. Let's say call this tail, and then go in here. So that whatever elements that I add within the tail, it will be the same settings of the top settings, which would be the hue. Because underneath here, I'm going to do more of the, how do I say, edits to the tail, like shades and whatever not. So I need to make sure the hue is on top of here. This hue is just for the fish. And this hue is for the overall whatever settings that I'm going to do in there. Okay, so that's the fish. Let's do down the hue. Up. There you go, like that. And let's go back inside the fish, create a new layer. Let's call this shadow. And then press on Alt or Option so that you get the small little arrows, knowing that this masking or whatever is done within this particular layer is just for the shadow. And I'm going to change to G and Shift G one more time until I get a gradient, which is this. But I'm looking for black and white. So let's go to the basic. You have a white here because your white is selected. Switch that to black by pressing on X. There you go. And then change normal to soft light.
So that gradient that you were choosing then will just take the color of your foreground color. Is that what the gradient does?
It will take, yes.
So it's not just black and white, it's whatever your foreground color is.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So if you do that, then it maintains whatever color that you have underneath here and apply it on top. Again, the secret here is soft light. So, and I like black is because it's like, it's either yes or no. Shadow, there's no like in between. I feel, even if there is, I will soften it by using opacity. So yeah, that's still good. Save. And again, I did mention yesterday, we don't have this in our Photoshop. The latest Photoshop only beta has this, but it's a very, very useful thing. If I'm not mistaken, maybe it already has. Again, they keep improving the features in Photoshop. Reason is because it saves so much of my time as well, because I know the angle that I want. Like for example, like this is so nice to just do this so that I know the direction of my gradient. So I really like this part over here. Okay, I'm gonna maintain it like that, and I'm gonna do a bit of like darkening and then whatever not. So I'm gonna play with brightness and contrast. Just maintain right on top of the shadow, and then just lower down the brightness. Here you already sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I missed a comment before from Chrissy saying same thing in America. They're at every pet store, but we don't have them fight. Lol. Talking about the fish. We're talking about the fighting fish before. Yeah, I think they were really popular in Australia for a while as well. Funnily enough, I think I remember vaguely, like friends in primary school. I go to their house and they had like fighting fish. I don't know why, but they were really popular. Yeah.
Right, but it's just for display, right?
Just for display, they weren't. They weren't starting a World Cup, of, like fighting fish.
That's why it's
maybe that's why there's
fish.
Not very many left, because they all had a battle royale, and there's only one left.
Right. So now that we are here, it's time to do a bit of like masking to the tail. Because I added the darkness already, but then it still need to have a piece of the soft lighting that hits from the left-hand side. So I'm gonna just change my brush again from hard to soft, lower down the flow to somewhere middle like that, and then just brush. Again, what I'm doing, I'm just removing the dark part of whatever brightness I've added way earlier. There you go. Just a bit, because again, let's zoom in and see this, right? There's a flowy thing that's happening, and this flowy part over here, which I'm gonna highlight here, there's a curve going on, right? So the light hits more here, but not so much here. That's another thing. Again, back of your head, you need to imagine this to get the lighting right. There you go, like that. That's perfect. Again, why all this brightness and shadows are important, because if I hide these two, you know how meh it looks, and if I add in, it create the depth. Super important. So next we're gonna fix the gold. If you notice, there's also a bit of like gap here, which I am going to mask out. Looks like it's from the background. We will fix that. And let's remove it, and let's just merge the bottom part of the mermaid even more. Let's see if I can do that by just blending it even better.
And as we're going along, for those who are just joining us, we're here with Ramesh, and we're in Photoshop. So we're using the beta version of Photoshop. We're doing a mixture of generative fill and using stock imagery to make photo manipulation artwork. So don't get any points for guessing what we're recreating here. Little Mermaid, obviously inspired. If you've got any questions as we're rolling along, feel free to throw them in chat. We're about halfway through, so there you go.
Okay, cool. So now we're gonna fix in the bottom part of the body of that model. Let's create the brightness and contrast, and then let's just decrease the brightness. Again, if I don't do that, look at this rock and look at the surface of the skin. Doesn't make sense. It looks like a cut and paste job, which we don't want to do that. Decrease the brightness until you feel that's right. We will add in more detail after this. So let's do this. Okay, cool. And then time to do a bit of masking. My brush is soft. Let's check. Yes. And then my flow is perfect. Time to add in the light, exactly like how we fixed the tail. So the light is hitting here. Switch to black. There you go, like that. Still maintaining the darkened area, this part, so that obviously the light doesn't hit here, but we need to make it slightly darker even more over there, which we're gonna do after this. There you go. Cool. And let's create the shadow inside that layer. Let's call this shadow. Change it to soft light. Press on B. Change your color to black by pressing on X. And then let's zoom in. And then do this. Again, manual work, but it's always fun to do this. Okay. And then we need to also fix the shadow that supposed to hit on the stone. So make sure to go back to the stone, create a layer on top. Let's call this shadow. This can be in normal, which is fine. And I am gonna, because it has to look slightly harsh because she is very close to the stone. So how do you study shadows is that try to work with different lightings in your room, right? When you put something very close to the surface, the amount of shadow is very dark. If it goes away, it gets softer. So this is how you practice. So it's super important. So it's all around you. It's all around you.
Because like if you got something, it's going to be very, very dark, and it's going to be very feathered most of the time, unless the item is. But the further away, the thinner, lighter, more feathered it might be, or a bit of a blur, something like that.
And also, another thing, when you play with landscape type of manipulation, the further it is, the more lighter it gets. If you look at the mountain range, any photos, if you just Google it up, you'll get to see the front mountains are always like the darker and the harsh looking, I will say, the shapes of it. But the further it gets, it'll get lighter. So it's something also to bear in mind, that when you work on any foreground or background thing, do a coloring thing, which I do a lot in my artwork, is that I always study color and how do I separate even the background and the foreground. How do I know, should I make the background slightly blurry so that I can focus on the foreground? So it's all in there. You have to study. If you make it like a bit of, like, we call it bokeh, meaning you make it slightly blurry so that you have the effects of like depth. So it's all a lot of studying, but it's fun.
Bokeh is a really good thing for people to research if you don't know what it is.
And then I'm gonna just erase here. Okay, cool. And I'm not so happy with the shadow. I am going to add in even more. Okay, this is the tail. Let's go back to the body. Right underneath here, so that it doesn't look like a cut, straight cut. There you go. Perfect. Okay, cool. Nice. Happy with this. And then next thing is, I need to fix this thing that's around her body, upper part of the body. The towel doesn't make sense because mermaid don't wear towel on top here. So time to asking for help from generative AI. And again, I did a lot of studies as well before I do this demo, is that what works perfectly. I even did like, seaweed and whatever not, what she will be wearing. And it just, again, because it's beta and whatever not, so I did a lot of different settings, and then I found one that I think I can work with is the prompt is quite funny. It's like green thin wires.
green wires.
Green wires, the thin ones, because it looks like a seaweed or a plant that's from the underneath the water that's really strong that wrap the front part of the body. So funny when I discovered it, I'm like, wires, but it works. Let's see if I get what I want.
Let's see if we get it this time. It's always a bit of a gamble.
yeah. Green thin wires generate.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like the prompting is such an important thing, such a strange thing that
you have to be creative. Yeah, you have to be creative, and you think of it from like what works, what didn't. Oh, this looks cool actually.
That's actually kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see the other two options. Oh, this looks like a leaf. We can try one more round. I think this is cool, but I want to try one more round. Let's try one more round. Generate more.
But it's interesting. Yeah, you thought wires, because that is getting closer and closer to what you need, and then you could build off there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this is very modern type of wires. I think I kind of like the previous ones. I think this is cool. Yeah, this is cool. Let's maintain this, and then we should do a bit of fixing. Like, for example, oh, by the way, if you're wondering how to get back the other options, there's always a panel where you can look through how you select on that particular layer and you get back the other ones. So that you can go in and always select back whichever that you think that might work. So I kind of like the first one that I did, which is
And if you can't find that thing, it's happened to me before. You need to be on the right layer, the layer that you use.
Correct. Yeah, you have to select the generative layer.
I've done that before. I thought, oh no, I've lost it because I clicked away and then found it again later. But so there you go, little tip.
Yeah. So before and after, you can see how it actually blends with the background. Cool. Okay, I'm done with these. I think there's certain things that I want to remove. This part over here is bothering me, so let's just mask that out. I don't need these here. Okay, that's cool. Okay, cool. Yep, that looks good. And you know how Mermaid, if you look at the settings of Mermaid, is that they always get things from the sea and whatever not. And I was thinking, I think even the current Mermaid don't have it. It would be nice to have a crown, you know, made of like maybe leaves or flowers and whatever not. So I was thinking of that, and I thought it would be nice to generate that. And hopefully I get what I want again.
Let's see, we'll find
select
out.
Let's select the head, and let's look for leaf crown. Oh no, crown made of leaf. Is that too much to ask for? Let's see.
I think that's good. I've often found that the more that you put in, the better it tends to get.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Because I did put crown, not thinking of the leaf, and I literally got, how a queen has
like an Edwardian kind of crown. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't want that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, wow, that's actually nice. Okay, cool. Let's see what the other two options are. Oh, nice.
It's done a good job.
This is a no. This is a party crown.
Yeah,
we
that's
don't want
right.
that.
Wow,
this is
they're
cool.
Both really good.
Yeah, really good. And I think I need to color it. And if you're wondering how to color it, very easy. Just create a new layer on top of this. Let's call this green. Obviously, green is the color that I'm going to color. Again, pick any color from your palette, which is the whole artwork is your palette. Let's color pick something from here. Let's zoom in. And then change normal to color. And then you can start coloring. Don't worry on the if it's too light, bright, or whatever. We can always fix that by using multiply and whatever not settings. It's cool. Again, I'm manually painting. It's so much fun to do things in manual sometimes. It's like you're in control. Let me do this. But whenever you have like generative AI, it kind of makes the whole life interesting. The process. A lot of surprises.
That's a great way to color something in this method, because it's, as we said, you've used generative AI, so it's actually kind of a marquee. That's what's
correct
there. But if you paint in there in that color and in that layer, so it's interesting how it can affect your workflow as well. Yeah. Because in the past, you probably would have found something like flowers, created the flowers on top, and then it would have already been masked, right? So
exactly.
You could have just very quickly changed the color. So it's interesting how the approach changes, like the workflow.
Yeah. But I think the beauty here is as well, there's always a way to get things done. Like you probably find another way. You go like, oh, I didn't know that, which always happened to me. Yeah. Like even every day. I mean, that's the reason why I practice every day. Is like I'll always discover something new, and I know, wow, if this doesn't work, I can always go back to that. So yeah, that's cool. And if you want to make it even darker, what we can do is let's create, again, I'm copying that green, and let's just change a different settings here to see which one has more that looks cool. That looks cool. That's more depth. See, nice. Imagine without that, it looks a bit faded. With it, it looks good. And yeah, cool. Maybe the color is a bit bright. Don't worry. All you can do is just press on Control U. And then let's reduce the saturation. Can you see that? Oh, let me zoom in.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in to see. You can still change it in whichever layer that you are. Control U. Again, let's reduce the saturation. Not so much. And you can even play with the lightness of this. I want to play with this.
So you would do saturation in this case rather than, I don't know, reducing the fill or reducing the opacity?
Yeah, can too. That works as well. Opacity, let's reduce it. There you go. You get very soft looking colors. That works too. Nice. And then time to actually bring in a friend. She's alone right now. And for that, I need a crab. Crab will be the new Sebastian. So I think it will be nice to, let's do experimental work. Let's see if it can do a slanted crab that's coming up.
It's gonna be a tricky angle.
Yeah, let's call this. I wanted a red crab. It has to be red crab. Okay, cool. Let's see. So the story can also be she's like sitting and she can hear like a water moving at the side, and slowly the crab is coming out from the water. Again, another thing. Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. It's pretty good.
Next, let's see. Oh, this is cool as well. I like the eyes is picking up. Always like the front leg.
This one looks a little bit more angry.
Yeah, this is good.
Don't
this
know
is
why.
good.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay.
It's done a good job. It kind of looks like it's moving, like it's got a bit of a walk to it.
Yeah, too. Yeah. It's not like static, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Okay, let's reduce the color. I am gonna, as you guys can see, it's pretty strong. And I'm gonna fix that by, again, another method would be brightness and whatever not. I know it's going to affect the whole thing, but we are going to fix that by doing this. Oh, brightness won't work for this because the color is very strong. Let's do hue and saturation. Hue and saturation. Reduce the color. Oh, actually the background doesn't really affect so much. Cool, but I still need to do the masking. You can see where the blending is happening. If I zoom in, you can actually see. Okay, so I'm going to fix that. There you go. I'm going to remove that very quickly at the bottom. Okay, looks good. Okay, cool. Nice. And I thought will be even nice if I add a more, probably the last step before we end would be, before I put in the color lookup, would be the hair. You know how the hair stops here? You know how mermaid, I think iconic thing is the hair as well. So I'm going to bring in one more stock image, which I'm going to put right on top here so that I can see it. And I'm going to quickly mask it. Okay. Select the whole hair here. Like this. Not this area. Cool. I also need to time check if I have time. Crop it.
About 8 minutes.
Oh, that's more than enough.
Yeah.
And then let's do more refining. Again, this is also my favorite feature is that if you select and mask, do you see refine hair is up there? It refines even more. Can you see that?
Right.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. So I am going to quickly make it as a smart object. Oh, it's already smart object. Cool. Resize it. Let's bring it down where the mermaid model is, which is there. Let's bring in the hair, and then let's put it over here. Oh, you're wondering why it's not showing in the back here? It's because
we haven't fill that we did in the middle there. Yeah.
Correct. So let's remove that very quickly. And I am going to also do, okay, we can fix that manually. So what I'm going to do now is let's fix this area by doing some stamping.
Good old clone stamp. Wow.
Clone stamp, yes. This is my quick fix to sometimes you wanna you wanna do things fast. It really helps. Like I just get something from that image itself. Again, how to merge things very quickly. Make sure you move using your smudge tool to just blend things up. And cool. I'll just move the hair up a bit like this, flowy. Oh yeah, I like it. Okay, let's make it darker by creating brightness and contrast underneath. On top of it, and then reduce the brightness so that it matches the hair of the original model.
Yeah.
There you go. That looks good. Because without it, let me hide that layer. Something is missing. We know it. So when you add that looks amazing. Let's do a bit of masking again, just to clean things up of the hair. Okay, cool. I like the swirls around the hair. That's perfect. Okay, cool. I think I can even make darker by using hue and saturation, but not touching the colors, but lightness. There you go. Okay, cool.
Is that because you feel like the color was close? It was pretty accurate, so you didn't want to touch color at that point.
Yeah. And also, because it's at the back where it's hidden from the sunlight, it has to look slightly darker. So yeah, that's the reason why I did that. And this thing is bothering me, which is the top part here. I did some layer fixing. I'm going to even make it darker by doing a manual fixing. And I want to darken that area because the light does not go over there. Let's switch to B and make it a black soft light. And soft light, yes. B is here. Let's darken this area. Lighting is off here, so I need to fix it. Okay, cool. Unselected. Looks good. Oh boy. Yeah, now the final round would be color lookup. And I think the perfect one would be before I select the color normal, let's go change it to fall colors. It's something beautiful about it. Oh, another thing. If you notice here, the whatever we added for the color lookup before that, right? It creates this. Like whatever we added before, it has to be on top so I don't know how it works. It's just that it doesn't blend together, which is fine. Because in order to fix this, just group them together. Underneath here, this should work. Oh wait, I know what's wrong. There's more layer on top. Bring it up. There you go. I fixed it.
Yeah, I was lost then for a second.
Yeah.
Because I thought as long as you have color lookup at the top, it'll affect everything.
Right? Below. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I know what's wrong. So let's say you put a color lookup and then you add in generative AI, it will create a very darkened space around it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. Cool. But yeah, we are done.
Looks amazing. Woo-hoo! It looks kind of like a film photo almost, or a little bit artistic with the colors.
Yeah. Everything looks good. Again, if you guys want to explore more similar theme, again, you always can add in accessories like for bangles, around the arm. So these are things like cosmetic stuff, but again, to beautify the whole thing. But again, with the help of AI, I did a lot of things. Can you imagine if I print this out, go outside and ask them which one is fixed? They can never say the rock underneath, because look at the flowy things underneath the water. Yeah. The waters are just like merging together. So that's the beauty of it.
That's amazing. Yeah, you just don't know when it's all blended together correctly like that. Yeah. It's impossible to tell. And yeah, I think this one came out like fantastic. I know.
I'm so happy with it.
Yeah,
especially
it's really solid.
Crown.
The crown looks amazing. It's done an amazing job. And that was one of the first or second that you got, isn't it? And the crab was like first generate. I'm often redoing things lots of times to try to get it right. But hey, sometimes you get lucky off this.
Yay! I'm so happy with this.
It looks fantastic. Thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with more Adobe Live, and also Johanna will be continuing our Firefly Friday. So she'll have some fantastic stuff in store on Friday. Ramesh, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I can't wait to have you back on and help us kind of navigate this new world of generative AI and Photoshop skills. It's been fantastic. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
Thank you so much, Flynn. Such a good host. Thank you everybody who came in and watched the live stream, and do watch more of the past streams so they can learn more.
Exactly. That's right. We'll all learn together. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye.